I'm on my way to the airport, and I wanted to take a moment to pull over and show you how this company exploited 4,700 small business owners into bankruptcy and then ran with all of their cash and was able to get out of any liability in their bankruptcy proceedings and in the legal battles that followed, walking away clean and getting rich off of their suffering. Now, if you've ever watched any of my videos on Quiznos, it was a brand that was the fastest growing sandwich chain in the world in the early aughts. Then they started getting greedy and pitting stores against each other on 2 and 3 corners of the same intersection. Because if one store was doing well and making money, they decided that wasn't fair and they could get more money out of the community if there was another store across the street. So literally, they started to cannibalize one another. And when the stores started failing, what they did was this private equity firm said, I know what we'll do. We'll find a way to make money off them, even if they're not making money because they're competing with each other. And they offered each of them this new fancy marketing initiative that was going to save them so much money and give them new customers. They got them all to sign their contracts. And when they signed those contracts, it said they were getting a new food distributor that was going to save them money, but they had to sign an exclusivity contract. Each owner gladly did because they were losing money en masse. So they signed these contracts saying they were getting a new unified distributor that was going to save them money through an economy of scale. Almost immediately, their food prices dropped as they were first entering the new supply chain. But what nobody told them was that Quiznos owned the new food distributor, and they never told the ownership that. And as soon as everybody signed their name on the dotted line and had nowhere else they were allowed to buy food, they started hiking the prices exponentially as royalties from real sales was going down because of the oversaturated market. And so there came very quickly a point around 2007 where Quiznos, the brand, was making more off of the exploitative kickback schemes at this food distributor in what's called rebate revenue than they were on the actual royalties based on the success of the stores. And 4,700 Quiznos locations started to fail one after another and go into bankruptcy. These people lost everything. They lost their retirements, their homes, their future, their college funds. And Quiznos engaged in something called the Texas two-step. You see, right before they realized that all of the dominoes were about to fall, they quickly offshored all of their debt into the LLC that stayed there, while they offshored all of their assets and their intellectual property into a separate LLC they sold to it for a small sum, maybe even $1. And they kept that new LLC with the original CEO. So that the old LLC that all of these people had their contracts with had only debt and no assets, so that the company could file bankruptcy and get out clean, while the CEO took all of the money that'd been made off of all of them to the tunes of tens of millions of dollars a year, and he walked away and founded Smashburger. And that is how the company Smashburger was built off of the blood, sweat, and tears of more than 4,700 small families that wanted to start small businesses to enter the entrepreneurial class and build a life for themselves, to make money on their own and have freedom. And instead, ended up being exploited by the first private equity firm that learned how to exploit their franchisees through kickbacks. And they walked away clean and built a new legacy where they continue to exploit their franchisees. But they didn't end up bankrupting quite as many. They do still have a terrible success rate, though. Don't eat at Smashburger. Don't eat at Quiznos. And stop supporting private equity-owned franchises. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany. We work together to fight private equity and save small businesses in our community.